The sound of our town, the treasure coast choice. I am, you are, we are Vero's Voice.
Hey, thanks for joining us today on the Vero's Voice podcast. As always, my name is Doolin, coming back to you for another episode. I took a little bit of time away, but it's good to be back. And I started this podcast a while ago because I wanted to tell the stories of Vero Beach. And there really is nobody better to tell a story than an author, particularly a fantasy author, which is who I have sitting in the studio with me right now. Kenny Gould, sitting right across from me. Kenny, thanks for being here with me today, man.
Thanks for having me. You have a beautiful radio voice.
I have a good face for radio too, I'm told. But yeah, so you're here in Vero Beach, and you are the writer of the, if I'm saying this correctly, the Toroth-Gol Series.
That's
is that
right.
correct? Okay,
Got it in one.
Awesome. All right, fantastic, man. So before we get into all that, did you ever live in Vero Beach before, or?
I did. I was here in middle school. My family's been coming down here since I was a kid. I'm from Pittsburgh originally, but we used to pack me and my three siblings into our minivan, and my parents would drive 18 hours down the coast.
So you guys like would come visit this area
for vacations.
Okay.
And, then we moved here for middle school, and then my wife and I actually moved back a couple years ago. And I'll tell you what, there is so much more to do now. Or maybe it's just that I'm an adult, but there seems to be...
it's blowing up here quite a bit. A little, some might say a little bit too much, but that's for me being a Vero native.
Sure.
I'm like, it's a little bit too much growth for me now. I don't know. So you went to middle school here.
I did,
and then you didn't stick around for high school. You took off? Okay.
Nope. I left for high school and college, and the start of my career.
Which middle school did you attend?
I was at St. Ed's.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, and then what was your graduating class?
2013.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. That was college. 2009.
2009.
High school.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So now you know how old I am.
Yeah. So you got a pretty I wasn't going for that, but you got a pretty interesting background. So you've got English degree. You did some work with a beer media company.
I did. I started that.
You started a company. Yep. Okay. MBA. And so you started a media company, and then you went from that to writing novels.
That's it.
So connect the dots for me, because there's some missing spaces there.
I'll connect the dots for you, and maybe it'll make sense.
Okay.
But, here's how it went. So I have known that I wanted to write fiction since I was a kid. It's what some people want to grow up and be the next Michael Jordan, and I wanted to grow up and be
Stephen King,
I mean, that'd be awesome. Terry Pratchett or Douglas Adams or one of those guys. And so, I went to college and I got a degree in English from Duke, and then I graduated. And I don't know if you know many 22-year-old fiction authors. But,
not a one.
I don't either. And there's a reason for that, right? It takes years and years to really hone a craft. So I said, okay, what could I do in the meantime while I'm spend the next 20 years getting the skills that I need to do the thing I really want to do? What could I be doing? And so I got a job writing nonfiction. I became a journalist.
Okay.
And in my head, I was like, oh, that's similar. It's writing. They're not the same at all. Come to find out. Yeah. But I didn't know that at the time. But yeah, I went and I moved to New York City. I got a job with a magazine there. I started writing for that magazine. I started freelancing for Forbes and Bon Appetit. And
you still write for those publications, don't you?
Yeah,
awesome.
I still freelance for them.
Fantastic.
Yep. But I developed a real...
Are you a full-time writer now?
I am now, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
But fiction now.
Yeah. That's living the dream, man.
I know.
Like so many people want to do it. So few people can do it. I can tell you the number of times I have sat down like, I'm gonna write a book. Nope. never. Well, about 30,000 words in, never finish it.
That's pretty good. 30,000 words is pretty good though. Writing a book is just putting one word after the other until you're done.
Yeah.
So if you can commit to 500 words a day, 1,000 words a day, whatever it is, you just keep going until you're done.
Yeah.
And move on to the next one.
What does your process look like? Like, so I mean, there's a lot of different approaches that somebody could take, especially when writing like a piece of fantasy.
Yep.
And I was always told, start at the end and then not physically right at the end, but like when you're sketching out your plot, start at the end, work your way forward. How do you come up with what's your thought process like?
Yeah, I start with an idea usually. So probably my best known book is called The Castle of a Thousand Doors. And it is about a famous athlete who is accused of a crime he did not commit, and he gets sentenced to fight through a magic dungeon.
Okay.
Where everything's trying to kill him, Hunger Games style. And
is this like in the style of Hunger Games? Is it like televised of sorts?
It's televised.
Okay.
Yep. And he gets his last choice of weapon. There's only one weapon left in the whole dungeon, and it is a talking potato that is marginally helpful at the best of times.
Right.
And so
wisecracking.
Totally. A lot of potato puns. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. But so I start with an idea, like a one sentence. A dude gets sentenced to fight through a dungeon, and he gets his last choice of weapon, a talking potato.
So this was the egg basically.
That
Like, okay,
it.
what's a wild take? Guy has to go through a dungeon. His only weapon is a talking potato.
That's
okay,
it.
got it. And then the stories kind of started going from there.
That's right.
Okay.
And so now I'm on book 5.
Okay.
Which actually
just released this year, right?
It's coming out in the fall.
Okay.
Yep. Book 4 came out in February. Book 5 will come out in the fall. And there is a spoiler alert, but there is a scene that is set in Vero Beach in book 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. Very
So I'm
cool.
pretty excited.
Scene set.
about
Now,
that.
let's talk about this world that you've built a little bit. So, Castle of a Thousand Doors, very much a fantasy novel, but
Yeah.
you just referenced Vero Beach. So, is this like a fictionalized version of our world, or is it like a futuristic version?
Good question.
I mean,
One of my favorite authors is named Brandon Sanderson. He's based in Utah. He has.
I know that name.
Yeah.
He's
He's famous.
What is he famous for?
He's famous for finishing the Wheel of Time
Okay,
series.
okay.
Yeah, Robert Jordan passed away.
Right, correct. Yeah.
Tragically, and his widow chose Brandon Sanderson to finish the series, and he has a bunch of his own books now. And he's also famous for having the highest grossing Kickstarter campaign of all time. I think he made $60 million in 2 days selling books, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
So he's a bit of a personal hero, and he has something called the Cosmere, which is the world that all of his books are set in. And
the Cosmere.
The Cosmere, yeah. And there's kind of a unified physics between them, and there's a unified magic system, and there's characters that show up in different books. And Stephen King.
I was just gonna reference Stephen King, but you beat me to it. Yeah.
Stephen King does this with The Dark Tower. He's one of my favorites as well. And so that was something I was always really attracted to. And so when I started writing, between when I wanted to be a writer and now, there's probably a good 20 years in there. And so I've been thinking about the world in that 20 years and how I wanted to create it and how I wanted to connect our world to something that is a little bit more magical. And so, there are characters and scenes that are set in our world, and then through some of the different mechanics that I've built into the world.
Is it almost kind of like multiversal hopping?
Yeah,
or
a little
sort
bit.
Of, okay,
Yep.
interesting.
Yeah, I think that's probably what most people would draw the parallel to. It's kind of like the multiverse. If you've seen any of the Marvel
of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm a huge nerd.
So, yeah. Yes. Yeah. That makes two of us. So.
Well, you write fantasy. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Very cool. Very cool. So, so let me ask you this. You speak all over the country.
Yeah.
So where are some of the places you've gone, and what are people most curious about when they talk to you?
Great question. So I end up talking to a lot of kids, actually. I write for adults, but none of my books are inappropriate for kids.
Well, and you mentioned earlier when we were talking, you said, this is kind of like, with the popularity of Dungeon Crawler Carl now, which I finally got into, which is a great book, but also kids can't read it. Maybe when they get older, but kids can't read it. But this is a friendly book along those same lines that kids can sit down and read.
Yeah, and my
and
wife,
you'd recommend it for all ages?
I do. If there's nothing inappropriate, I mean, anybody under 10 might just have a hard time because it's 80,000 word book. But I've had 10-year-olds read it. I actually got a some fan mail from a kid. His mom sent it to me out in Utah, who's in 4th grade, and he did it as his school book project.
Oh, very cool.
Which was pretty cool. She
Okay.
sent me some pictures, and he had a potato that he glued googly eyes onto. That was awesome.
That's great.
But yeah, so I travel a lot. Most recently, I just wrapped up a little tour. I was in Salt Lake City. I was in Albuquerque. I was in San Francisco. And so I go to these places. I speak a lot of times at bookstores. I'll speak at schools. And I will talk about anything and everything. I'll talk about my books. I'll talk about the creative process. Sometimes when I'm in schools, I'll do an assembly, and then I'll go into a classroom and do like writing workshops with the kids just to help them get inspired. Yeah, I love
Very cool.
I love getting young people especially excited about reading and writing.
Do you ever do any of the conventions or anything to that
I
effect?
do. There is a big one in Salt Lake City called Dragon Steel. That's
Dragon
actually
Steel.
Brandon Sanderson's conference, and that's where I met Matt Dinneman, who wrote Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yeah.
So I go speak there. Last week I was here actually at Between Realms, which if anybody listening hasn't checked it out yet, Between Realms is an awesome local bookstore.
It is on my list of
opened.
things to check out.
Yeah.
Because we're losing that. We're losing bookstores, man. Like it's really kind of, I mean, and I'm so glad they're here because like they're dwindling.
Yeah.
Like we used to have there used to be we've still got Vero Beach Book Center, I think, which you can find your books there. But we used to have a big bookstore out west of town. Boom, it's a hardware store now. You know what I mean? It's
I mean, that's one thing actually in my travels I have seen is sort of a resurgence of independent bookstores, which is really cool. And for us to have one in Vero is so cool. It is an awesome space as well.
And they're over on 16th Street?
They're by like Staples and Goodwill. There's a Taco Bell right there.
Okay. I know right where that is.
If
Okay.
you Google it,
You'll
find it.
Yeah, I know where that is.
They couldn't be nicer. And it's actually the two co-owners met. They worked at Cobalt at the Vero Beach Hotel and shared a passion for books. And so they opened that. But yeah, I think, I don't remember why I started talking about that, but.
Oh, that's all right. I get lost.
Great local bookstore.
Yeah, great. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll definitely have to get over there and
I
check it out.
I was saying I was at a market there last week.
Okay.
So I try to get to some local events as well. But talk about my books. I talk about other people's books. I love talking about just fantasy fiction. You know, it's a blast.
So you said there's 5 books in this series now,
in
right?
this series, the 5th is coming out this year.
The fifth is coming out this year.
Yep.
Is this the final book, or is there more coming?
No, this is the first half of the 10-book series.
Oh, 10-book series.
Yeah,
Wow, man.
I set myself up for that. Maybe something that in hindsight I wouldn't have done. But here we are.
Yeah.
So
you're married to
committed.
it now. Yeah. Hey man. So speaking of married, you mentioned you got a young one on the way. You and the wife are expecting. Okay, wonderful.
We are. I got married here in Vero Beach, and
whereabouts?
At Treehouse.
Oh yeah, I know the Treehouse.
Yeah,
I'm a DJ. So
okay, cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, great venue, and we got married, and we are having our first kid in August.
Hey, congratulations!
Yeah, just in time to get through the Vero Beach summer.
And how many years have you been here in Vero Beach? No, since you moved back.
We moved back.
Yeah,
3.
3, and then your wife is from where?
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Same as you. All right. Wonderful.
And I just saw Breeze is starting direct flights in October.
Oh, yeah, so you
saw
can
that
visit.
today.
You can visit home very easily. That's fortunate, man.
Get the in-laws to come down and help with the baby.
There you go. There you go. Awesome. Do you foresee that changing your writing style at all? If like becoming, because I feel like becoming a father is probably going to change everything.
Yeah. It's something that I know it will change. I don't know how it's going to change.
Yeah.
But undoubtedly.
It has to, right?
It has to. Yeah. So I'm prepared for that. I'm trying to maybe front load my year. So we'll see how much I get done. But I did just finish up the first draft of book 5. So that's done. Now it just needs to be edited. But it's not like I'm going to have that to work on. Like I have at least for this year, I have the writing done. And
So, you said the first book came out in 2023, right? All right.
Yep.
So you've done a lot of work in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I try to keep it moving.
And you had a couple of books before this too, I believe. Right?
In between.
Okay.
So I wrote the first 3. I took a little break from this series. I wrote 2 others, and then came back to the 4th, which got published this February.
Okay.
I'm good for about 2 to 3 books a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, man.
Thanks.
Yeah,
It sounds wild when I say it, but when you think about it, okay, a book is, let's say, 80,000 words. I do, on a good day, you were asking about process earlier, I do 2,000 words a day. It doesn't matter if I have 2 hours to do that or all day. I do about 2,000 words.
Yeah, and you just push through it,
Yep.
and you can always rewrite it later. But
Yep.
the most important thing is
get
just
'em out,
get something
get 'em
on
down.
paper.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I rarely, if ever, can do more than that. Even if I had more hours in the day, it's just a mental thing. But yeah, I mean, 2,000 words a day, 80,000 word book, you could have a first draft in 40 days. Then you have to edit and market and all
Well,
that.
actually, yeah, that's the next thing I wanted. So I wanted to ask you about this. So let's go back in time a couple of years here.
Sure.
So younger Kenny, about
Yeah.
3 years ago. This Castle of Thousand Doors. This was your first book, right?
That's the first book that got published. Yep.
Okay, the first book that you published. Okay,
Yeah.
so you sat down and you said, I'm going to get all this out. I'm going to write this book. I'm going to get it out there, and you got it out now. And this is something that I've talked to other authors about before, and they've said the process that you have to go through when it comes to finding a publisher makes you want to rip your hair out.
Yeah.
How true is that?
I mean, here's where I think people get it a little twisted, is they think, oh, I'm the writer. I'm going to write the book, and I'm going to let somebody else, like a publisher, sell and market the book for me. And I think that used to be the model. And I don't think it is anymore. I think that if you are trying to be a writer in 2026, you have to be
a personality,
do everything.
Yeah.
You have to do it for yourself. And maybe if your book takes off, someone will throw some dollars behind you.
Yeah.
But even the people, whether they're independently published or they're traditionally published, everyone I know that's successful is doing it all themselves. It is a grind.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have to get out, and people have to know your face. They have to know who you are, because that's how I came across you on TikTok. That's how I found you. And there's an author that Jason Pargin, who wrote John Dies at the End.
Yeah.
I follow his stuff on TikTok. Has zero to do with his writing, but he just talks about really interesting stuff. And after I've seen him pop up on there so many times, I'm like, maybe I should read one of his books, because he's got interesting things to say,
Totally.
But that's just kind of part of the marketing machine at this point. I think you have to be your own marketing person.
You totally do. And you don't have to use social media. I talk to people all the time that say, oh, I don't like it. I don't understand it. But you have to then have something, be it email, you start an email list and you build that. You have to have some way of getting your books out there.
Right.
Otherwise, they're not just going to magically move, right? You have to.
You can't just put them on the shelf and be like, okay, now I wait for the money to roll in.
It would be awesome, but I just don't think it works like that. I'll also say about social media, I mean, I don't know that many people that love social media, but it. If you're a surgeon, there's probably things about your job you don't like. If you're a financial manager, there's probably things about your job you don't like. So if you're enjoying 50% of what you're doing for work, that's pretty good. I love what I do. And it's not even close to 100% of the time. I'm stoked about what I do all the time.
Right.
The writing is, for me, the most fun part. It's maybe 25% of what I do with my time. The rest is coordinating school visits and signing up for conventions and writing briefs to get accepted to those conventions and running ads and getting on social and making content and, so that's just the game in 2026.
And you say, aside from Between Realms, you haven't really done much here locally yet, right?
No. Well, my books are at the Vero Beach Book Center. They're at Midnight Brewery in Port St. Lucie,
Okay.
and they are at Between Realms.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I've been traveling so much that I have not really done much locally. So if anybody is listening and wants to team up or do something fun, I'm all ears.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me jump back into this book here a little bit.
Sure.
Because, all right, so tell me a little bit about this main character that has the talking potato. Now, you said
Yes.
he's a disgraced athlete.
He is an athlete.
Okay.
Yeah. For a made up
Or-
sport called light ball.
Okay.
A little like lacrosse,
Okay.
but a little more futuristic.
Mm-hmm.
And his father is a very high-powered nobleman,
Alternate world, right?
politician, alternate world.
Okay.
Yep. And you come, he's arrested for a crime he did not commit.
Okay.
Initially, he doesn't know why
Mm-hmm.
this has happened. You know, he's a public figure. He's at the top of his game. He's famous, and he's arrested and he's sentenced to this dungeon where prisoners are sent as kind of a televised entertainment for society.
Running Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Got it.
exactly.
Very cool.
And yes, he
What's the character's name?
his name is Nathaniel Valentine.
Nathaniel
His
Valentine. Okay.
nickname is King Crow.
King Crow. Okay.
Which he got, as
Is that like his online or his television persona
yeah,
kind
exactly.
of? Okay.
That's the nickname he got.
Very cool.
Through playing the crows like shiny things, and the light ball, the ball that they play with is shiny,
okay.
and he was always on top of the ball. So they called him King Crow. And the potato's name is Spud. Of course.
Yeah. The talking potato.
The talking
Very
potato.
cool.
Yeah.
So all right, so this first one, so we're on 5 books now. So is it all still the same castle that he's in at this
no,
point?
so the
I don't give away spoilers,
Yeah,
obviously,
I
but I don't want to give away too much. But
the dungeon that he's sent into has 10 levels. That's where the 10 books come from.
okay,
And each level has a bit of a different theme.
okay,
So the first level is the Castle of 1,000 Doors,
Mhm.
and it is kind of this haunted house theme.
okay,
Second level is called Dungeon School. There's more of a school. He's got to go learn some skills
Okay.
and
Level up,
gonna
so to
level
speak.
up.
So
Exactly.
would you say this kind of fits into the lit RPG fantasy genre?
Yeah,
That
it's very lit RPG inspired.
like it's
Yeah.
blown up. Like I had never heard that term before, like 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
And now it's like everybody's talking about it. And
It's
I'm like,
a really-
it's huge
It's
now.
a really fun genre, and I don't want to assume everybody listening knows what that is. Lit RPG.
Yeah, please, break it down.
Yeah, it stands for literary role-playing game.
Yeah.
So it's like a role-playing game, like Dungeons and Dragons, or if you've ever played any video games,
World of Warcraft,
Exactly.
Skyrim. Yeah.
Yep. It's like that, but it's a book.
Mhm.
So you're reading about a character, typically that's starting out very disadvantaged.
Wooden sword.
Yeah, exactly. And then over the course of the book, just like in a video game or a role-playing game, like a tabletop game, you would build a character and they would advance.
Mhm.
Your protagonist is doing much the same thing.
So is Nathaniel throughout the course of this like leveling up and like picking skills and
Yeah.
classes and
Yep.
all that stuff?
Yep.
Okay. Can you
Yep.
tell us what his class is in the game? Does he have one?
Yeah,
or is
so
it-
he the class he gets, it's the only one left, is the food fighter class.
I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
I love it.
And so he gets his talking potato. And I will give a little spoiler. In
Okay.
book 2, there's a talking tomato. And then, each of the pieces of ammunition he gets has a different skill that's
Okay.
associated with it. So the potato has a power called hot potato. He can light himself on fire. Yeah.
So he takes like the most disadvantaged weapon and then levels up with
Yep.
it.
That's exactly it.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
That sounds like a blast,
Oh,
man.
it's fun.
Honestly, I'm very much looking forward to getting into this and reading it, man. So, any other events coming up for you here
Let's
locally?
see. Wow. With my kid coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've
August.
been.
Let me know if he's born on the 21st, by the way.
Is that your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a
So,
Leo? Is that what
yeah.
that is?
Mhm.
All right. Happy early birthday.
Thank you,
My
man.
wife
We
is
got
too.
some. Oh, okay. What's
She's the 12th.
the 12th? Okay.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend's the 19th, so we
Okay.
usually just do a joint birthday
We'll have
party.
to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't there a dessert bar right here?
Yeah, right. Oh, so Sweet
Yeah,
Desires.
yeah,
You
Sweet
should-
Desires.
It's so good. You should definitely check
I
it out.
went, I think, opening day or something.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Oh, it's a great spot. Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
For
We'll
sure.
have to go celebrate.
Mhm.
But yeah, locally, let's see. My books are here locally at all
Mm-hmm.
the local bookstores. I'm trying to think if I have any events coming up.
Mm-hmm.
They're usually in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
The summer, kids are out of school. There's not as many
Mm-hmm.
like big conference events.
Do you ever look into Dragon Con Atlanta, Georgia? By
Yeah,
chance?
yeah.
So I've been. The only reason I asked is I'm a huge Dragon Con nerd. I've
Okay.
been every year for like the last 15 years. So I was
Yes,
just
Dragon Con in Atlanta is the big one.
Mhm.
I can't go this year on account of.
Have you been?
No, I've never been.
Oh,
but
okay.
I wanted to go this year, and then I found out my
You
wife
got the kid.
was-
Yeah, obviously you
yeah.
can't go this year. Yeah,
So
yeah.
no, August is off the table. I
Mhm.
am going to be in Vegas in November
Mm-hmm.
for a conference there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be actually. This is pretty fun. I do a lot of work with classrooms,
Mm-hmm.
and I started a really cool program where I started connecting local authors to English classes,
Mm-hmm.
and typically the authors then would be writing for like a middle school audience,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would connect them to a middle school classroom, and the kids would read one of the author's manuscripts and provide feedback on it because that's who they're writing for. Why not get feedback from the actual
Mhm.
people who are reading the books
Right.
that you're writing?
That's very cool.
So
Yeah.
I did that program in California. I met with a class of sixth graders in English class every week for 3 months on Zoom.
Okay.
And the kids read my book. They gave me feedback.
Oh,
they,
fun.
They were super invested
Mhm.
in, how cool is it to be in sixth grade? You get to read a book that isn't published yet, and then it does get published, and you get to see your name in print, and
Yeah.
you had a hand in shaping that narrative.
Wow.
Like it was such a cool project. And so that teacher and I are going to be speaking at the National Conference for Teachers for English.
Okay. And this is in
NCTE.
Vegas in November.
This one is in Philly in November.
Philly in November. Okay.
So-
So you're going from Vegas to Philly.
Yeah, I'm going from Vegas. Vegas is going to be a conference called Reader Nation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll be at NCTE. And then a week later, I'll be back in Salt Lake City for Dragon Steel.
Right.
Not to be confused with Dragon Con.
Correct. Yeah.
And then the other big one, which I'm fingers crossed, you can keep them crossed for me, listeners, as well. There's a chance I get a panel accepted about humor in writing
Mhm.
at the San Diego Comic Con.
That
which
would be.
will
That's the
in-
big stage, man.
That's the big stage. So
Yeah.
it's 2 weeks before my wife is due. And I told her about it, and I thought she was going to be like, that's just not going to work. But she was like, Kenny, you got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to go if you have
Mhm.
that opportunity. So
Absolutely.
I should be hearing back this month, and I'm excited about
Yeah.
that.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
definitely keep my fingers
Thank
crossed
you,
for you,
thank
man.
you.
I
You
mean,
got 2 hands.
yeah, I know.
Double the
I've never been to
fingers.
San Diego Comic Con, man. It's a long time. Maybe one of these years.
That's
I'll
the
go.
big
But
one.
Yeah, that's the big one for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I'll be hoping and praying for you that
I
you make
appreciate
that,
it.
man. Absolutely.
Thank you. I think if people want to connect with me, I am local. I'm on social media.
Mhm.
I'm the Kenny Gould,
Mhm.
Gould.
Mhm.
Kenny Gould was taken, and also Kenny G was taken. I don't know why.
Who? Who?
Yeah, I couldn't.
Some jackass.
Yeah, I
I don't know.
know.
Nobody's probably ever heard of him. I don't know.
You know what? I saw him. I saw him last year.
Yeah.
I was the youngest
Kenny G.
person in the audience. Yeah, Kenny G. And it was one of the most incredible musical performances I've ever seen.
Mhm.
He's incredible. What a talent.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Wonderful, man. Yeah. Gosh, I don't think I've listened to him since I
Right?
had a cassette player.
I'm-
So I mean,
I'm
he's
the same
he's,
way,
he's
man.
he's been around for a minute.
But we were in Pittsburgh visiting my in-laws, and we saw that he was going to be in town, and we were like, let's just go. Maybe it'll be fun. Let's check
Yeah.
it out. And I had the time of my life. Yeah, Kenny G.
Kenny G. Who'd have thought it?
So yeah, the Kenny Gould. I'm kennygould.com. My books are on Amazon too.
And I'll be sure to include all of
yeah,
those links when the podcast goes up here a little bit later on today.
Yeah.
So real quick, before we take off today and close it out, let's sell the Toroth-Gol Series in like 10, 15 seconds.
All right.
Why should they pick it up instead of scrolling Netflix today?
Yeah, are you starting the timer?
Oh, no, I'm not really
Okay.
starting it. You don't really have it.
No, I
hate to put you on the spot, but
the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
So it's a fantasy book for all ages. It's funny. There's a great audiobook. It's about a dude who gets sentenced to fight his way through a magic dungeon, and he gets his last choice of weapon, which is a talking potato. So if you want a great book for yourself, for your kids, for your niece
funny
and nephews, age appropriate, a lot of action, a lot of laughs. It's the book for you.
Awesome.
Check it out.
Fantasy author Kenny Gould, guys. Hey, Kenny, thanks for hanging out with me today,
Thank you.
brother.
What a pleasure.
It was an absolute pleasure. As always, my name is Doolin, and we will see you on the beach. Take care, guys.